There are tons of climbing footwork videos you can find on YouTube, including a bunch of our own. This video is going to be different because we want to show you some of the lesser talked about footwork techniques, and some of them are pretty subtle, but they're going to make a massive difference to your climbing. The first one we want to discuss is accurate foot placement. And of course, this is probably done to death in YouTube videos with the silent footwork drill, which basically means moving slowly and very accurately to a foothold, and in essence, not making a sound when you touch it. However, this can also lead to overly using body tension and really slowing down the movements that can be really quite inefficient. There's many situations where you need to be fast, hit a foothold, apply tension and move without wasting much energy. So we're talking about fast and accurate foot placements. Where this can most obviously be seen is on steep terrain, for example in board climbing. When you hit a hold, you're in a cut loose position, and unless you're really strong and can just stop and cause tension between your upper body, you often need to be able to swing a foot back onto the wall and hopefully land it directly on the foothold that you're aiming for. This is actually a great place for training that type of skill, is on board climbing or on steep climbing. And here your aim would be to jump or dyno to a hold and carry that momentum and that swing all the way to landing and placing that foot right on the foothold accurately. If you're going to try and train this skill on a board or on steep terrain, I'd recommend you stick to the bigger handholds. You don't want it to be really challenging for your upper body and fingers if you're trying to concentrate a lot on what your lower body and your feet are doing. Work the skill first, then build it into your performance on the harder climbs. Another place you might see this skill used a lot with that really fast but accurate foot placement is on very modern or competition style climbing, where you have to do drop down moves where you're dropping your feet onto footholds. And this is also another place where I like to train this skill, is by actually on normal climbs, maybe not on such steep terrain. You're on holds, but you can't reach the footholds. You need to release and then plant the foot all in one movement. The next one is placing your foot accurately, but actually now we might be doing it slowly, but we're making predictions about where the foot is going to end up at the end of the move. Where your foot starts and ends up can often change. The mistake here would be placing your foot where you want it to end up at the start of the movement, but when you've made a movement, it actually ends up in a different place. So in this case, you might end up needing to think about where your foot's going to be placed, even if it doesn't feel great to start with, but as you pull into the move, it ends up in the best position possible. This next one is really related to your awareness of your body and what your hips are doing in relation to your feet. There's a lot of situations in climbing where you have one good foothold and nothing else for the other foot. So what we end up doing is taking that foot, pasting it against the wall in a smear, and using it to push, applying tension to the wall for generating towards the next hold. What you'll see is good climbers are very good at making the prediction of where that smear needs to be to generate fully in that dead point position to the next hold. Not cutting short with it or placing it too high. Learning to do this well takes time because you need to be really aware of how big your body is and how to use every inch you have in your reach. This is like getting a new car. Until you really understand the size of it and get good at moving it, it can be really hard to park. But over time, you start to learn the size of it and it becomes easy. Although these foot techniques are really important to your climbing, make sure you cover the fundamentals first, so you need to watch this video over here. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.